Imagine you're 17 and you shut down your entire town because you've made a nuclear reactor all by yourself.
Hi, my name is Lillian Rase, and I'll hope you join me today as I talk about the radioactive Boy Scout and his homemade breeder reactor. David Stroud Hahn was born on October 30th, 1976 in Gulf Manor. Growing up, David was very curious about chemistry. By age 12, he was easily reading college chemistry textbooks. By 14, he had fabricated nitroglycerine. Experiments started in his room at his mother's house. He then moved to his basement. His experience with chemicals grew larger in size. An explosion led to some minor injuries, so he moved his makeshift lab to his mother's potting shed. During this move, David was also completing his badge requirement for Eagle Scouts. One badge that he chose to obtain was a merit badge in atomic energy. He was awarded the badge on May 10, 1991 by visiting a hospital's radiology unit, creating a model reactor using crafting materials. David strived to make more of a model, however. His mother quoted David saying, "One of these days we're going to run out of oil," and he was driven to create his own source of energy, a type of nuclear reactor that creates its own fuel. But wait, what exactly is a nuclear reactor? Nuclear reactors work in general by containing and controlling the physical process of nuclear fission. David's reactor is a breeder reactor. A breeder reactor is an early type of nuclear reactor that can create energy using elements like thorium rather than enriched uranium, which is much harder to obtain since it's a controlled substance. Breeder reactors are designed to produce more plutonium than uranium, and plutonium they consume. Breeder reactors aren't often used because the material is highly radioactive and makes reprocessing the fuel very difficult. A more simple way of viewing how a breeder reactor works comes from the U.S. Department of Energy. Imagine you have a car and begin a long drive. When you start, you have half a tank of gas. When you return home, instead of gas being nearly empty, your gas tank is full. A breeder reactor is like this magic car. A breeder reactor not only generates electricity, but also produces new fuel. Renewable fuel that David was striving to make at home in his mother's shed. Using several cover stories, David secured enough materials to make his own reactor. Working hard for years, David had managed to build a breeder reactor with no off switch. David had found that radiation from the reactor was detectable through concrete. Later, he found that his Geiger counter began picking up radiation 5 doors down from his mom's house. He had decided that this project had too much radioactive stuff in one place and began to disassemble the reactor. On August 31st, 1994, police received a call for a young man who had been spotted in a residential neighborhood apparently stealing tires from a car. When police arrived, they opened the trunk to find a toolbox, shut with a padlock and sealed with duct tape containing radioactive materials. Police called for backup once they realized what David had done at his mother's potting shed, and a superfine cleanup took place of around $60,000. David's at-home reactor is estimated to have impacted around 40,000 nearby residents. His curiosity is inspiring. However, it is a warning to follow standard safety procedures.